Well, good morning, everybody. Daniel Harkavy here. It is great to be with you all today. I hope you are doing very well on this spring day. I am excited to be with you and today to really talk about leadership. Over the last 18 years, many of you have been coached by us. We've had a lot of interaction with many of you, and I think what we see today, more so than ever before, is that Building Champions is truly a leadership and management coaching company. The majority of our clients are in some position or role of leadership. And that can include folks that are very high-end consultants, sales professionals, all the way on up to CEOs, people that resonate with the message that we bring, the work that we do. They know that they're in a leveraged position to where they have the opportunity to influence for the better many, many people around them. So today that's what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about 3 actions that will improve how you lead. These 3 actions we absolutely believe in, and I'm going to not just talk about the theoretical. I'm going to give you some very specific, tangible takeaways. What I would challenge you to do as I start is to look for the 1 or 2 nuggets that are really relevant for you right now. I think any of the things that I talk about will help you, but if you try to do all of it in the days or weeks ahead, you're going to find yourself frustrated. So as you're listening, really work to focus in to find that one thing that's going to help you to improve how you lead, to improve how you think, and ultimately to improve how you influence everybody around you. So let's get going. The first thing that I want to talk about, these 3 things are, I want to kind of just set the stage. You need to know that excellent leaders, the best leaders, they're students of leadership. And they're continually looking for ways to improve how they lead. Just yesterday, Bob Nowak, who's Executive VP in charge of business development here, Bob and I were sitting down with a client, an individual who, just a great, great guy. He's the head of a very large national life insurance organization. He heads up the Oregon book of business, and the guy is just hungry. He's a student of leadership. He's always wanting to learn. He is just so looking for opportunities and strategies that will enable him to more positively impact those around them so that the people around him can be more successful. So excellent leaders are hungry, lifelong learners, and they see learning opportunities everywhere. I think of a CEO, mentor, and coach, Jerry Baker, one of our partners here at Building Champions, and Jerry is always looking to learn. It doesn't matter if he is talking to somebody that is half his age. It doesn't matter if he is talking to somebody in a role that is beneath the role that, the roles that he's played. He's looking to learn from everybody. He's a voracious reader. The guy just has an appetite for learning. I think of Dominique Fournier. Dominique, a guy that many of you guys and gals have met at one of our past experiences. And Dominique is just a fantastic client of ours. Dominique was the CEO of Infinium, and I've talked about Dominique. He joined us at the experience, and Dominique is this lifelong learner, hungry to learn from anybody. Dominique, Jerry, both guys in their 60s and their 70s. You know, I think of Clem Zaroli, my very first boss when I entered into banking, and Clem was the most inquisitive guy you'd ever met. He had more questions than anybody you'd ever sat with, and he was always looking to learn. So today, you're busy, you're working hard, you're a leader, and I believe you can only give away what you possess. So how's your appetite for learning? Do you have an intentional development plan? You need to know this. Excellent leaders, they're the most humble people. Because if you're going to be a lifelong learner, what you're saying is, I don't know everything. And what you're saying is I have gaps. And in my pursuit to be the best leader, to have the greatest, most positive impact on those around me, in my pursuit of excelling there and being the best I can be, I need to learn. I've got blind spots. Humility is required. I can learn and will learn from anybody and everybody each and every day. That has to be your overall posture and outlook. So that just kind of sets the stage. All of you humble people looking to learn, investing the time with me today, It's because you want to grow and you want to make a greater difference in the lives of everybody that you touch day in and day out. The first action you can take to improve your leadership is reflect. Great leaders know where they stand. Max Dupree, just a great leadership author and guru, said that the first thing that an excellent leader must do is define current reality. And we need to. We need to reflect. We need to take the time to stop and assess where we are in business and in life in comparison to our plans. Listen to me on this. The best leaders are not the fastest movers. They're not the most caffeinated, hyped up, energized, monster drinking beasts out there. That is a false, I think it's a false belief for leaders. The best leaders move a bit slower. They're pondering, they're observing, they're studying, they're thinking, they're questioning. They're doing these things that will enable them to understand current reality. They're doing these things that will enable them to understand where they're at in comparison to their plans. They're assessing where they're at in comparison to their life plan, where they're at in comparison to their business plan, and where they're at in comparison to their vision. They're really mindful of what's most important to them, and they're continually assessing and reflecting on their progress. In reflecting, one thing that they do is they do these postmortems. They expect to fail. They don't hope for failure, but they see failure as a required stepping stone in order to succeed. So they do these postmortems after they've launched an initiative, after they've given a presentation, after they have completed a project, after they have had an interaction with an executive team, after they've made a pitch. They're doing a postmortem, and they're always looking to see what went wrong, what went right, and they're looking to learn from that. Do you actually intentionally spend time after your meetings, after your project launches, after key events in your day? Do you schedule time to do that postmortem? And do you sit down with others to have a good discussion? How did that go? I think of our team. We're getting pretty excited. We have our Masters Coach event coming up in about 3 weeks. And the Masters Coach is just a super coaching program, and really what makes it super is the people that we get to do it with. Every quarter we'll bring 30 to 40 of our clients to a nice spot somewhere in the States, and we'll work with them on new thinking. We'll create an environment where they can learn from one another, and we facilitate this for them. And then they have one-on-one coaching sessions in between. And I know some of you are on the line. This next event is all team focused, and what many of you may not know is that we always schedule time right after the event. We're exhausted, but we schedule time to sit around the table and to really take a good look at, all right, what worked well, what didn't work so well, what do we need to do next time we're together? It's fresh right now. What adjustments do we need to make? What do we need to leverage? What gaps do we need to shore up? We're always looking at the event and then doing that post-mortem while it's fresh. The next thing as far as a reflect tactic, and for those of you who have been part of the Building Champions tribe for the last couple decades, you know that we're always talking about on time. And we look at how you invest your time in different ways. We say there's time for you to grow your business, there's time to work in your business, and then there's time for you to work on your business. And the working on your business is this dedicated, focused time for you to move projects forward, for you to improve what it is that you're doing, for you to reflect on where you're at in a project, where you're at in comparison to your plan. It's this intentional time. And I know that if I were to sit down with any of you on the call today, I know that this is an area of your week and of your life that has been compromised for most. Most people do not have this devoted on time. It's not part of their reality today now that they have succeeded in their careers like it was earlier when they were so hungry to learn. On time equals improvement. it's assessing, it's working on a project, it's executing and moving the ball forward in comparison to your plan. Just this morning, I had a coaching session just a little while ago, working with a great young leader. And this great young leader works in a massive multi-billion-dollar organization, thousands and thousands of associates, and he plays a key role. Just a talented young man. And what we were talking about is how do we help him to improve in the area of execution. Oftentimes, when he would sit down in his on time, there's so much to do that he's fighting all of these competing thoughts and can sometimes feel paralyzed because the projects are enormous. And my coaching with him just this morning, it was, as you come into an hour-and-a-half block of on time or a 3-hour block of on time, start your meeting with writing out what your desired end result is. Around here at Building Champions, that is a regular practice. What's your desired end result for this on time? What's the desired end result of this meeting? What's the desired end result of this call or this engagement? When you have on time, get really clear and specific and be realistic with what the desired end result is for that time. Don't be overly ambitious and think you're going to get all these 19 different things done. Be hyper-focused and crystal clear on the 1 or 2 things that matter most today during this on time. But you need to have a discipline of on time. Each and every one of you need to have a regular scheduled block of time in your week to work on yourself, because on equals improvements, you need to continue to improve, you need to continue to learn and grow, because you can only give away what you possess. This all falls into this reflecting bucket. Those that reflect, and they're just wiser than those who don't, they take these bigger blocks of time. And what they'll do is they will take Sabbath days. Sabbath days are these days where it's just a day to sit back and really look at where you're at in life. And it's a day that's a bit more free-flowing. It's a day where you don't need to have such a clear, solidified desired end result. It's a day to think. It's a day to reflect. For some of you, you might be going, are you kidding me? I'd go crazy. The best leaders give themselves permission to just be, to think, to reflect, to look at where they're at again in life in comparison to where they're at in business. And some people will take Sabbath days. They'll go to the coast. They'll go to a lake. They'll go to the desert. They'll go to a nice resort. I've got a couple clients, fantastic leaders. They take what they call library days, and they'll just go and they might bring a book, they might bring their journal, and they'll go hang out in an area that is filled with resources, and they just kind of see how their day goes. But it's a regular discipline for them, and they do it each and every month. You want to reflect well. You need to know that outside insight is required. The best who reflect, they're open to sharpening, and they hang out with people and think with people that will stretch them, that will challenge their thinking. They have these outside insight type folks on their team that help them to really best understand current reality. So they're reflecting with the help of others. They might have a coach. They might have a mentor. They've got somebody who has the ability to see what their blind spots might be. They have somebody that has the ability to understand kind of what's important to them, where they want to go long term in comparison to how they're filling their calendar today. And they've got that individual that is helping them to reflect, because the better in tune you are to yourself and where you're at today, the better you will be able to influence others. You've got to be in touch with just how you're doing, how you're thinking, what your beliefs are causing you, how they're causing you to interact with people. Last week I had a huge privilege. I had an opportunity to speak to a group on Good Friday morning, and at the convention center there were quite a few folks there. And one of the things that I spoke on was that all of us have an effect on those around us. Whether you're aware of it or not, you leave people, when you leave an interaction or a conversation with them, you leave them better off or worse off, very rarely neutral. And in this piece of reflecting, this outside insight can help you to understand the social intelligence aspect of your leadership. How do you make people feel when you walk into a room? How do you make people feel when you walk into a one-on-one coaching session? How do you make people feel when you walk through the office? Leaders, you need to be aware of that. You need to know and be connected socially with everybody in your workplace. And not only is this a good practice for us at work, but it's a great practice for us at home. So the first thing that leaders do is they reflect. The second thing that they do is that they plan. And they're not reacting and adjusting to whatever is coming their way day in and day out. These leaders have a plan, and they see both for the long haul as well as for the short haul. I call that bifocal vision. All right? So bifocal vision, you've heard me talk about in previous Champions Edge calls. Great leaders, they've got a plan for the long term. That's their vision document, and it's clear and it's compelling, and it changes how they think. It changes what their short-term plans look like. It influences every aspect of who they are. Then they have a really short-term plan. Vision's long-term. Then they have a 90-day plan. Now, when they're looking at that long-term plan is helping them to break out of their comfort zone. And what it's doing is it's helping them to make smart decisions, smart strategic bets. It's helping them to really create strategy that will enable them to continue to excel and to move forward. So they've got this bifocal vision. They can clearly articulate what's coming down the future. They know what they stand for. They answer the 3 Bs. They can articulate with everybody, hey, you belong to an organization that thinks this way and that has a purpose. This is our purpose. This is who we're going to become in the future, and this is what we're going to build, long-term plan, all right? And then they have this 90-day, short-term, one-page plan. And this simple one-page business plan, I'm sure many of you are using it. My hope would be that all of you are using it because it's so powerful. The simple one-page plan, if done in 90-day blocks, it enables you to adjust and either take advantage of the momentum you have in the year, or to re-strategize as to where you're at in the year in comparison to where you thought you'd be. So great leaders have a plan for the long term as well as for the short term. And yes, you should have your annual plan, but break it down into 90-day segments. At the end of the first quarter, you build your second quarter. As you're approaching the end of the second quarter, you create your third quarter. And these simple one-page plans, they identify your outcomes, your non-negotiable disciplines, and your improvements. And the more clear you are on this, the more intentional and proactive you'll be with your calendar. But the key is, with both of these tools, you've got to have discipline. You've got to have the discipline to review these and use these as decision-making influencing tools. The best leaders are planning from and acting out of their vision and their 90-day plan. And the best of the best are looking at these plans on a minimum of a weekly basis. And it's always at the beginning of the week. Some will look at it Friday so that they go into the weekend knowing what's most, what they've got dialed for next week, but most will look at it on Sunday or first thing Monday morning. And what it does is it just helps them to align their thinking so that they're focused on what matters most. And every one of you are in control of what you're thinking about. Every one of you are in control of how you adjust your calendar, of what you say yes to and what you say no to, based upon plans that will enable you to have the highest probability of succeeding in your role. And when you want to look at a leader who is truly excelling and accomplishing great feats, it's because they are so good at saying no. They're inhibiting, as Dr. Henry Cloud says, the stuff that's good but not great in comparison to their vision and their plan, so they can say yes to the stuff that matters most, the stuff they attend to. And then Henry talks about that whole working memory thing. They're looking at vision, they're looking at their plan over and over and over again, because the more clear you are on that, and the more you believe in that, then the better you will follow through with how you allocate your time. So if you're on the call today and you're feeling overwhelmed and overloaded because you don't know how to stay focused on the main things, let me just address, I think your name's Lyrian. Lyrian, you said, what suggestion will you have for busy leaders in a busy environment and how to keep growing and maintain balance? By having these clearly articulated and by reviewing them, it will enable you to fill your days with the right things, which does enable you to be more balanced. I haven't talked about life planning, but for you, I would say life planning is that next plan that you want to be reviewing. For all of you, it's the foundation of what we do. As a matter of fact, the call that I hung up on just before jumping onto this webinar was with my co-author and client and friend, Michael Hyatt, and our agent. And the book that we've just finished will be out probably the beginning of 2015. It's on life planning. So Lyrian, if you want to better understand what busy leaders can do in a busy environment on how to stay focused and maintain balance in your life in the midst of all of it, you're going to want to look for that life planning book. And of course, you can contact us and get life planning tools, etc. All right. 3 actions to improve your leadership. They reflect. Leaders reflect. You need to have this on time. You need to have the discipline of assessing where you're at. You need to be mindful of the progress you're making, how you're thinking, what you're believing, how you're performing. And there's a discipline of on time. How much? I'm going to say a minimum of 4 hours a week for each and every one of you. You've got plans in place, and you're looking at those plans with discipline weekly. Those plans, definitely vision, definitely business plan, and definitely life plan. If you look at those plans on a week in and week out basis, you will fill your week with more of the right things. So 3 actions to improve your leadership: reflect, plan, and the third is connect. First and foremost, I would say that I want you to connect on a personal level. You need to connect with those closest to you. Don't sacrifice in your pursuit of success, in your pursuit of business growth, in your pursuit of making more money or increasing market share or growing your business. Don't sacrifice over the long haul connecting with those that matter most. Each one of us play a unique role in many lives, a role that only we can play. So it's you, wives. It's you, husbands, you moms and dads, friends, you leaders in the community, you kids and siblings. We play a unique role in so many areas of our life, a role that nobody else can fill. And oftentimes as a coaching company, what truly probably fills a lot of coaching time, it's as the result of people sacrificing in areas of their life that mattered most, and they're not connecting in the areas of their life that can cause them the most significant pain if they neglect them, if they get off track with them. And I can't tell you how many leaders have been derailed because they cannot be emotionally energized and present in the workday because of the destruction, because of the trauma, because of the conflict outside of the office. And this is where a life plan really does help. So you've got to be connected and giving your best to your best at home day in and day out. The next area that you want to be looking at in connecting is with your teams. You need to be connecting with your teams. You need to know what's most important to them. You need to be understanding that they are your most appreciable asset. You need to be letting them know that they matter, and you need to be connecting with them, whether it's your one-on-ones with them. Of course, with me writing Becoming a Coaching Leader and us believing that that is a core strategy for every leader, your direct reports need to be receiving coaching from you. What are you doing to help to connect with and coach and develop your teammates? It's key. The next area that great leaders, they're just well connected. I could talk about this team one for a long time. It's probably a call in itself, but I'm going to move on just because of time. Is great leaders connect with their peers. They're connecting with people in similar roles throughout the organization and learning from them. Just a couple months ago, I was facilitating an executive retreat, and in the executive retreat, there are a lot of folks who manage large divisions. They're divisional or regional managers, and the great aha for them was they sat around and they said, I don't know how you do your job. I don't know how you do this. I don't know how you recruit. I don't know what your retention strategies are. I don't know how you execute. I don't know how you work with in the marketplace. And one of the great ahas and benefits from that executive retreat was they put together just a system for them to communicate and learn from one another. In so many companies, leaders are siloed. I remember working with a global organization where I think I had 13 or 14 plant managers from around the world. They were all with us in Central Oregon, and they all have the same jobs, but none of them knew how they operated. So much learning comes from connecting with your peers. The best of the best make this a discipline. The next area that each and every one of you leaders need to make sure you never neglect is connecting with your customers. You've got to ask your customers the questions, the tough questions that very few leaders will ever ask them. And that is, how satisfied are you with our services, with our products? What can we better do to serve you? The best leaders don't rely on their customer service department to get this feedback. They are spending time face-to-face on the phone, however it may be, interacting with their customers so that they can get the real input they need so that when they're reflecting, they understand current reality. And each and every one of us, we cannot lose sight of how we impact those that we serve from a team perspective and from a customer perspective. You know, the other area that is a great opportunity for folks and leaders to connect is with other leaders. They connect with other leaders in different businesses to learn from them. You know, people in manufacturing are learning from people in servicing. People in all sorts of different businesses are always making it a best practice to learn from others outside their industry. There can be so much benefit to doing that. So who are you meeting with? You know, do you have do you make it a regular practice to learn from and to connect with leaders in different businesses on a monthly basis? The best of the best do it. The final area to best connect is, of course, with coaches and mentors. You're reflecting, you're planning, and you're connecting with those that can sharpen you. Outside, inside is required. And you all know that's the business we're in. If it's not us, find somebody that can speak into your business, speak into your life, and help you to make the most and be the best day in and day out. I love the theme of Reflect, Plan, and Connect. Many of you have joined us at one of our past experiences. Our Building Champions experience is coming up September 16th through the 19th, and the whole theme for the thing is it is a time to reflect, to plan, and connect. We actually build into the agenda time for you to reflect on where you're at in your business and your life. We challenge you, we give you content, we give you tools as coaches, we walk you through exercises to do that. We then give you the tools to plan from, and we give you new learning, new thought leadership so that you can build the best plans and grow as you need to grow. And then you have an opportunity to connect with 225 other like-minded professionals who are passionate about being their best in business and in life, and that's why they come to the experience. And I tell you, for those of you who are right now, you're looking for what's going to be that one key killer strategy for you to grow this year. As we have been working on the experience for this year, if you're a leader, you're a manager, this is the event for you. This event is absolutely being designed for people who understand their role as leader and as manager, team developer. For those of you that lead teams, this is a great event for you. The agenda is rich with opportunity for you to be challenged. You'll leave with common language, common experience, common tools. You will leave much better off than when you came, best positioned for the fourth quarter of the year as well as for 2015. Right now, I think we're way ahead of ourselves in comparison to where we've been in years past. We're talking about possibly going up from 225 to 250 max. That's the max the property can handle. If this is something that you're thinking about, we're going to sell out this year. That's not a scarcity play. You need to look at the experience and talk to us if that's something that you would like to add to your development plan or your team building plan for the year. Some tools that I want to definitely make available to you today. If that one-page simple business plan is something that you're interested in, you're going to be getting that in a follow-up email. I would encourage you to get that done for the quarter ahead. As a matter of fact, if there are any tools that you would like, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're going to be talking about rewards and recognition. We've got some great new coaches on our team. Laurel Emery is going to be leading that call in May, and she's going to be talking about motivation without compensation and really just rewards and recognition. That's going to be pretty awesome. That's May 21st. You'll want to join us for that. We'll send you some information out on the experience, and I would encourage you to look at that. And if any of you want a bit more from me, danielharkavy.com, my blog, I am regularly adding to that, and there's everything from written pieces to videos on leadership, on life, on team development, all sorts of that. So I would encourage you to spend some time there if you're interested. Should you have any questions or want more information, this is how you reach us, info@buildingchampions.com. Hey, we'd love for you to be a part of our Facebook tribe and follow us on Twitter. We're here for you. If there's anything that I can do for you or my team can do for you, please do not hesitate to reach out. Your time is so incredibly valuable, and I want to thank you for investing the 30 minutes with me today. My hope is that you got one thing in the area of reflect, plan, or connect, or that overall mindset, that lifelong learning, humility, and being hungry to learn from folks, because you can only give away what you possess. My hope is that you take one thing from the 30 minutes invested today and that you apply it. And as a matter of fact, I would love to hear from you. I'd love to know what your one thing is. You can definitely email me at daniel@buildingchampions.com. daniel@buildingchampions.com. Let me know what that one thing is that you're going to take from today's call and you're going to put it into action. Is it the on-day? Is it doing postmortems? Is it using the one-page plan? Is it setting up a discipline of meeting with your teams on a weekly basis or improving how you do one-on-ones? Let me know what it is. There's so much opportunity for you and for me to improve in the days, the weeks, and the months ahead so that we can make an even greater difference. That's my hope for each and every one of you. Thanks for joining me. Have a great, great rest of the week.